right, welcome back to the latest edition, Black Friday edition of Spitball and Podcast. There's my friend Scott and great co-host. How are you, Scott?
Good, man. How are you?
All right. Good Thanksgiving for you?
Yeah, real good. How was yours?
It was nice. It was good. Quiet is always good, and just relax and watch some good football that we saw.
Yeah, a lot of great football yesterday.
Definitely, and we'll get to that shortly. Today was weird. Everyone that watches us, and you know for sure, I'm a Leafs fan, and today there was a matinee. So weird. They had a game at 2:00 this afternoon, and that's strange. Yeah, very strange. In Minnesota, 2:00 game. Just weird. Not used to that on a weekday too.
How'd they fare?
But they won 4-3. They've had a good. They haven't lost. They've only lost one game in November so far in regulation. They've had a couple overtime losses, but that's about it. Hey, Chris, that's about it. So they've done well. They've had a good note, and it's kind of eerily similar. Last year was the same thing. November is where they took off and ended up having a great month. But it all matters to the end, man. It's all about the playoffs now. Unfortunately, for teams like Toronto, it's a dress rehearsal.
Yeah, right. I hear you.
Hate it. We don't talk about the NBA much yet, but there was something that happened, and I remember us talking about it last year, Scott, during the playoffs with Patrick Beverly. At the time, he was with the Clippers, and I have all the video. He had pushed Chris Paul in the back, who plays for the Suns. Well, the other night, they're playing the Suns again, but now he plays for the Lakers. Lakers have been not really good this year, but Anthony Davis has been incredible the last 4 games. And LeBron's hurt. Whatever. It doesn't even matter at this point. It's more about Patrick Beverly. And I want to start out by saying, Scott, before we play the clips for everyone, so we can show it, and then we'll give you the Devin Booker response. I'll do it right in a row. I do like physical basketball, right? Me and you both know 80s, 90s basketball.
Oh, man, that was the best.
Yeah, it was good, right? People love it.
The Pistons?
Yeah. This is different, though. Let me play it. Let's start by what happened last night, couple nights ago. Then I'll show the people what happened in the playoffs, and then to Booker. Here we go. Be about a minute or so.
Quarter. Reeves going up against Booker. Booker knocked it away. Reeves is down. Look at Beverly. Comes in. And knocks over Ayton.
He sure did.
They had words earlier.
He straight leveled DeAndre Ayton. And Beverly is upset because the officials would not call when DeAndre Ayton was standing over Austin Reeves. And he took offense to that because they wouldn't call it. So he took matters into his own hands. Now watch the whole play here. Here's the block shot by Devin Booker. I'm not sure that wasn't a foul. Wow.
Officials will use replay to determine if there's a hostile act or physical altercation that did not resolve after the foul.
So now you see Beverly. He hits him when he's not looking. The whole thing, Yeah. But let's remind everyone what he did in the playoffs when he was with the LA Clippers against the same team, the Suns.
37 points for Paul.
Booker talking to the fans, understanding we've seen this movie before. We have an issue on the court right now between both teams, but Chris Paul.
Beverly and Chris Paul.
Beverly and Paul after knocking down that shot. This is now live as Beverly and Paul get into look like some kind of pushing match as the players are going to their respective benches after the timeout was called. Oh, what? I mean, that's as unsportsmanlike as it gets. Patrick Beverly losing control.
He said something, Paul said something to him, and he...
Beverly again, he pushes that's an even worse one, I would say, because seriously, I would imagine you could have got whiplash from that one.
Yeah, you can really hurt somebody like that.
After the game the other night, Suns star Devin Booker had this to say.
On there with Pat Bev pushing Ayton from the side. What do you think of how everything unfolded right there?
What do I think about what?
How do you think about how everything unfolded at that point?
Man, it's just more than it was supposed to be. Pat needs to stop pushing people in the back, man. Push them in the chest. That's all I got to say.
All right, Scott. I wanted to get we heard what Devin Booker thought. What do you think?
Oh, it's obviously such cheap shots. They're terrible. They're blatant. I mean, yeah, why? How can he just push him in the chest? You worried about? Is he that much of a chicken shit? Does he always do that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Beverly is just it's crazy. They try to say he's a throwback to the '80s, but that's not the '80s and '90s. But that's not the type of that wasn't what happened there, because Patrick Beverly couldn't have done that in the '80s and '90s, because someone would have, it would have been different. There would have been a real altercation with real punches thrown.
Yeah. Nobody was shoving anybody from behind. That's just chicken shit play right there, all the way around.
Yeah, that was bad. And I was getting kind of pissed off listening to Reggie Miller, because he played in those years, and he was making it as though he was sticking up for the guy who was fouled. I don't even understand what happened there, because Booker, you saw the play. He fouled the guy, or they called the foul on him, and I'm not even sure if it was really a foul. So he walks away, and Ayton is talking to Smith, to whatever the hell his name is, and they're Anthony Davis, and they're just like standing there, and he comes and hits him, over him.
Because of where I think it's because of where he was He was standing literally right over him. I think that's kind of a slight in people when they do that. And even though he may not have been intentionally standing right over him like that, it looked that way. But still, it happened so fast. He shoved him so quick. I don't know if that's what he was intending to do. Because
I would have preferred if you just went up to him and grabbed him. Even if he just grabbed him by his jersey and pulled him. But you know what I mean? Some way to confront him.
Right.
I mean, Booker's right by what he says. I mean, that pretty much said it all for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's Patrick Beverly. I just had to bring that up because I watched the game. I was watching it, and, just remembering what he did in the playoffs against the Suns and Chris Paul. And the Chris Paul one was worse. That's definitely that. He's lucky anything could have happened with that one.
Oh, he didn't get hurt?
No, Paul was fine. No, he did not get hurt.
Good. Lucky. That's all back
that could have been bad. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like a car accident. Yeah, he got whiplash.
Yep.
Robin, are you good? How are you doing today?
I'm good.
You ready to go?
I am.
All right, good. Robin's here and she's ready.
Hey, Scott, how are you?
Good.
Robin,
good.
why don't I ask you? What did you think of that? The same as we're all saying with Patrick Beverly?
Yeah,
he's just
definitely cheap.
Yeah. But he used to be cheap in the past. Bill Laimbeer was cheap. And those guys, but it was different. It was different cheap. I don't know. Even our test.
Like getting under your skin cheap. This is just like, I'm going to confront you, but not.
Because Rodman was not good.
Elbows.
Not a good look.
That'd be an insult.
Elbows to the jaw underneath the net. I mean, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't like blatantly pushing somebody from behind. That's just such a punk move.
I think one of the other worst ones, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, long ago broke that guy's face, and that was cheap. He kind of hit him from behind.
Really?
He punched him when he wasn't even seeing it coming, and broke every bone in his face. So that was cheap. But I mean, obviously not to this level, but still. You didn't do, and that was in the early 70s. So again, it wasn't that 80s and 90s period. Because in the 80s and 90s, every team, it was almost like hockey, because Oakley and all the different guys that would fight if stuff started to happen. Basketball is probably its best time.
Yeah.
With it was just a really good time of basketball.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Why don't we switch gears, though, real quick? Because we'll have more on the NBA, NHL as the NFL and college football, go on its way. College football this week, Scott, is rivalry week. And like you have the biggest game, and you see my old hat here, Ohio State, Michigan, huge game, biggest game of the year, I guess, because it's number 2 versus number 3. some of the rivalries like Alabama, Auburn, USC, Notre Dame, those types of things. Clemson, South Carolina, all the interstate stuff, Oregon State. And let me put up for you the right now what the playoff looks like and what the committee has put forward. And as you can see, Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, you got Michigan 3, TCU 4, and waiting LSU, USC, Alabama, possibly Clemson, hoping for TCU to falter because one of Ohio State or Michigan won't be in there after tomorrow. So, these teams have a chance that are all the way down to 8.
My whole laptop.
Robin.
Yeah.
They're close.
There's so many scenarios.
There's too many.
Yeah.
There's actually too many because Alabama.
When's that big game tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow at 12 noon is Ohio State, Michigan.
Right. That's the one? Is that the one that's going to tell what? Just who goes into number 2? When does Georgia play? Tomorrow as well?
Georgia plays, but they're minus 35 against Georgia Tech. So they'll be fine. Okay. TCU's game is going to be tough. They're playing Iowa State. See, that's going to be tough. One of Ohio State or Michigan is out after tomorrow. Because whoever loses is going to be out.
Right.
TCU, as long as they win, they'll have to stay in because they put them there.
Now, when you mean they're out, that means they're out of what? The top 10?
They would be out of the top 4, which is the playoff. Because you want to get in the top 4, because then you're in the New Year's Eve playoff.
Oh, okay.
So you want to stay in the top 4. And for example, LSU sitting there at 5. They're going to play Georgia next week in the Southeast Conference Championship game. So that'll be interesting. What if LSU were to beat? There's so many things that could happen here that could just, I don't know. What if Ohio State beats Michigan, but it's, triple overtime and it's can both of them still make it? Like that's the problem, Scott, with this system. That's the problem because you just don't know.
So why would that have an effect on something? If it was like triple overtime, why would that affect it?
Because they do things like with style points in college with this. Like they try real hard to put the best teams in there. But then damn well TCU is probably not as good as LSU, USC, and Alabama. You know what I mean? Right. I hate to say it like that, but you probably and the loser of Ohio State, Michigan is going to be better than number 4 TCU.
Right.
But they put them there. And once they put them there, are they really going to pull them out if they end up undefeated? I don't think they would.
No.
So it's really kind of I hate this. I hate that's why I'm glad in 2 years they go to the 8 teams. That'll put an end to all this issue that you're looking at. But we know Georgia will win tomorrow. Georgia's beating Georgia Tech. Ohio State, Michigan, someone has to win that game. TCU plays Iowa State, which will not be easy.
Right.
It won't be. It just won't be easy. USC plays Notre Dame, probably won't be easy either.
Right. Should
be a difficult game. Some things can take care of itself tomorrow to make things easier on the selection committee. But there's a really good chance there's so many ifs, I can't even do them all. It's crazy because TCU loses and Ohio State lose. They're both out. So you're going to have 2 new teams in there. You'll have 2 new teams in the top 4, which would probably be LSU and USC.
Right.
I assume because then LSU can play Georgia, which would then knock LSU out. Possibly.
Right. Then you've got a 1-loss Clemson.
It's a mess. That's why you need to expand that's why I'm glad they expanded the playoff. Because you can hear it, Scott. There's just so many what ifs and variables.
Right. I think I wrote down 6 different scenarios, and that wasn't even all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And with 1 loss, you're going to be out. Michigan or Ohio State will be out with 1 loss.
Possibly, but possibly not.
I don't know. I think once you lose, I think they'll be out. I truly believe Ohio State or Michigan will be out. Because I don't know how you'd get back in. Because your games are done. You're not going to play no more. Because you're not in the conference championship. So
True.
I think you're in trouble. That game is it. That's a playoff game tomorrow. Ohio State, Michigan is truly a playoff game for the both of them. Loser leaves. They won't get back in because they'll push. I'll tell you right now, Alabama will get in before one of them, in my mind.
Yeah.
2-loss Alabama gets back in the mix. If Georgia beats LSU. You see what I'm saying? Like, and USC happens to falter.
How can they do that? How can they do that?
They do whatever they want. That's the problem here. It's done whatever they want. I mean, that's why this sucks, because they can do whatever they want, really. It's not a real tournament, really.
Right.
When they add the 8 teams, it will be. It'll be a lot better, because then a team like TCU wins their conference they're in, okay, all that kind of stuff. So
what, a lot of it's based on their opinion of who's the better teams?
That's all it is,
That's
yeah.
it.
And then you start to get into some real conspiracies, like who would ESPN rather have on? Would they rather have a Ohio State versus Georgia, or Georgia versus TCU? You know what I mean? Like, or who do you want? Do you want USC? Because you got those teams that just have huge followings and would bring more ratings, and
right.
So you get that, and that should never play a part, but it does. And like Ohio State, Michigan's never played in any kind of a bowl game in their life. Could you imagine that? Ohio State, Michigan play this week and then play again on New Year's Eve for the right to the national championship. It'd be insane.
That would be insanity.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be nuts. It'd be absolutely crazy if that happened. So it's fun. It really is fun. It's fun to watch. I enjoy it, but I get why some people go berserk, especially those that are really tied into the schools. Like, it's,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy it. If Ohio State loses tomorrow, I'll be pissed, but I still like it all. But I get why people that don't watch college football much would think this is a joke. This is like pro wrestling type shit.
How it ends up in the end, like who ends up being ranked where.
But if you love it, boy, is it fun.
Oh, it's fun. There's no doubt. Let's see what this is by Dave. This is the first year in a while I don't see a dominant football team in college. Dave, that's probably right in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia's the closest thing, but
defense and
no
Ohio State's
offense.
offense, maybe.
If you put them together, you'd have a dominant team.
Right.
Right. Because the thing is, Alabama being a little bit off this year, and only being a little off because they just don't have those wide receivers and running backs like they normally do. Dave asks, is Michigan starting running back playing? Well, that guy, Corum, it's all very quiet on that. I'm going to assume he plays, but I'm also going to assume that he not only plays, he's probably not going to be 100%. One thing, Scott, I wanted to tell you, Ohio State, they're going to be without Mayan Williams. He's a really good running back. He's not even playing, but they do have Henderson back, who's their top running back. And Jigba just isn't playing. This guy I think he just called it quits.
Why so?
He got hurt in that Notre Dame game, first game of the year. He got hurt in the Toledo game, which was the second game of the year. He hasn't played since. And Coach Ryan Day for Ohio State has made some comments like, we are hopeful he'll play, but almost like we're not counting on it. I think he's sitting out because he wants to be drafted, because he's afraid to get hurt, to go to the NFL draft. Because there is no chance he has not played at all this year, except a short period, maybe 3 quarters combined.
Yeah.
So why would he even waste the roster spot? Why wouldn't he just have come out last year?
Now you can't, right? You could. What is it, Rob? What's the rule? You have to be. It's juniors or higher.
Right.
You got to be. You can't come out until you're a junior. Well, he must be. So he's a junior.
Sorry, he's a junior. So he's a junior right now. Okay.
Yeah, because
he hurt himself first without playing?
Him getting hurt early in the season is what changed everything. I think after he got hurt week 1, then he just never.
Well, he came back for Toledo game, got hurt again, kind of,
and
sort
was
of.
Never the same.
But he's ready to play
and now is ready.
I think he's ready to play.
But
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just
doesn't that more hurt his NFL chances?
It's only even worse.
What's that, Scott?
Wouldn't you say that? Wouldn't you say that hurts his chances more of making it in the NFL by sitting out?
I think it
Or
was
is he that good?
He's that good that he'd have been I bet he'd have been the top wide receiver drafted. You know, if he might still be. He might still be the top wide receiver pick. I think Marvin Harrison Jr., that's how lucky Ohio State is and how ridiculous that place is. They have Njigba, but then you have Marvin Harrison Jr., who they're saying is better, you know, is the best wide receiver in the country. But
Well, of course he is.
Yeah, right. And so if you'd have had them both on the field at the same time, yeah, right. You know, so I mean, great game though tomorrow. If you got time at noon, I mean, it's unbelievable that the game's at noon, which it always is, which I kind of like because it's history. It's always been an early game. So,
right, I get what you're saying. It's such a big game, you'd expect it to be more of a prime time type of a deal.
Yeah, oh, definitely. But they always do it at noon, which is cool. They kept the tradition going. Last year, Michigan finally beat Ohio State in Michigan. They hadn't beaten them in like 9 or 10 attempts, and that was Jim Harbaugh's first win over Ohio State. I thought he was going to get fired, but he won the game. This is such a big game. I mean, I don't even know if Ohio State loses again to them, if Ryan Day would make it out. That's how big. It's one of those things. It's how big the game is.
Yeah.
It's probably the only thing close to it is Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah.
I would think, as far as that kind of rivalry to it. People get fired over it and things. So it'll be an outstanding one tomorrow. I think. I do think, though, Dave, Corum will play, but will play hurt. I think the running back for Michigan will play hurt. But yeah, that's the big one, man, in Columbus. I look forward to it. And I was going to here, you know what? I'm going to do it right now for you guys. Right now, Ohio State is -8. I certainly am not. I almost think it might be too high. I think this year this game might be. I think it might be closer because Ohio State's defense just doesn't shut people down. Even when they score, they don't shut people down. They didn't shut down Northwestern, who was 1-9. Remember?
Right.
So I just wonder if that line's too high. I'd love to have seen it at 6.5. Let's put it that way. If it was 6.5, I'd love Ohio State, I think.
Yeah. To
just win by the touchdown. I think 8 is pushing it a little bit. The over-under, by the way, and I never screw with over-unders, but it's 55.5. I like it. I might like it, even contrary to what I just said, but I might like it under due to the fact that I think they got to run. I think everyone's got to run in this game. I think Michigan definitely needs to try to run, whether Corum's in the game or not. But, Scott, I can't pick that one. I just can't. No, I can't. I just can't, because if I let my stomach, or whatever you want to say, take over, then it's Ohio State, just for the hatred of Michigan. But looking at it, boy, they've kept Michigan in the top 4 all year. And as much as I hate the committee, they usually know what they're doing. It's kind of like Las Vegas. So,
yeah,
I'm gonna pass. Robin, you don't have any feeling on that game, do you? At all? I mean, I know you're not. That's not a game you're picking.
It's
but
definitely not a game I'm picking. If I was gonna pick it, I would go with Ohio State. I think with Corum hurt, they're gonna be able to easily outscore Michigan, and I know they probably won't stop them as much, but I just think they'll outscore them.
Quarterback for Michigan is that Patterson. He's there. Certainly, no. The game is in Ohio State this year. The game is in Columbus. Unless I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure.
No, it's in Ohio State.
It's at Columbus. I got a little confused. I will tell you, I also don't like the half points. I'm never crazy about half points at all. I don't like them. I can't stand half points. Half point. Well, you're the same way, Scott. Half points are always an issue.
They always get you, man. They always get you. They've got me so many times.
Scott,
so
before we go to commercial and we come back, we'll talk real quick on the Thanksgiving games, and then go over our games like we always do, and picks and all that. I had a great day. How did you do? I swept the whole thing. I went with underdogs the whole day, and got blessed by that late touchdown by the Giants. And then I had Minnesota -2.5. So a nice 3-team parlay. Did you play it at all yesterday?
I did, but I parlay other things in it, man, and I ruined stuff for myself.
Oh,
I do it every week. I did win one. I won one. I bet both Williams and Josh Allen to both score a touchdown touchdown, so I did on that. But
that's a good one.
I parlayed some other stuff late, and I needed that Ramondre Stevenson to score a touchdown because I figured they were going to be running the ball a lot, but he caught a lot, but he still never scored any touchdowns. So if he would have scored, I'd have been golden because I hit on everything else.
Right.
Well,
yeah, I think we had Detroit plus 10.
9.5.
9.5.
Then
Giants plus 10.
Yeah, Giants plus 10. But I did go with Minnesota minus 2.5.
Right.
Because I loved it. It wasn't 3. I just liked the, so whatever.
I think we got it at 2.
Was it at 2 at the time?
2, yeah.
All right. Let's stop because we got to take a break. And when we come back, it'll be time to go over all the games, what everyone's waiting for. Because I'll tell you, we're giving out winners, Scott. Even though we're not winning as much, we're giving them out.
Yeah, did we do pretty good?
Not bad. Yeah,
we're getting our win-loss record up a little bit there.
We're about 15 over 5. We're 15 over 500. Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Digits 988 can save a life. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides connection to free confidential support. There is hope. The Lifeline works. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Welcome back. Thank you to our sponsors and all that stuff. NFL yesterday, Scott, what did we have? We had the Bills win. What did they win, 28-25? Was that the final score of that game?
Yep.
Yes. Yep. And then the Cowboys win the game like 28-20. I know, I'm just using it off the top of my head. Okay. And I think the Vikings win 33-26.
Yes.
Nothing real surprising. I think last week I had said, look out with Detroit because they always play hard on Thanksgiving. And as you've said, they're not half bad. They're just not.
No,
they can score.
Bad.
They can move the ball. No, they got some speed at linebacker.
If you watch every game that they lost, they're not getting blown out by teams every week or anything like that.
No. Scott, they're on the verge of being good. You figure if they have a good draft, this team could be decent.
Absolutely. I think if they get better in the quarterback department.
Yeah.
I think that's something that could be a major step up for them.
I think so. I think they're awfully good. They're all right. The Giants, they like I said, they made it close for us, thankfully. because that late touchdown was huge, or otherwise they'd have lost by whatever it was, 15. And then the late game, I was a little surprised on New England being able to move the ball like that. But you know what? I'm no longer surprised with anything anymore in this league, because there's only one team in the entire league that I think is really bad, and that's Houston. Seriously. I think every other team at any given time does whatever they, there's no there's no guarantee. Yeah. I don't know, Scott. What do you think? I think Houston's just the worst team.
I totally agree with you, man. That's why you're seeing teams like people are going, man, Buffalo just almost lost Detroit. Detroit's not that bad. They've been playing teams tough. They've been winning games. They were just on a 3-game winning streak. So, and it's hard to win in the NFL, man. It's hard.
Especially, especially when you throw these Thursday games in. They're never, I think that's tough. The good teams are the ones I think that hurt on Thursday. I think it kind of levels the playing field a little more when it's quick like that. But at this point in time of the year, just win at this point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you're undefeated. I don't care if you got 1 loss or if you got 8 losses. Just win. You win however you win.
Right. I think yesterday there was a lot of talk going into that Cowboys-Giants game that it was the Odell Beckham Bowl, that he's got visits scheduled with both teams. Those are the only 2 teams he's scheduled with so far. Do you think the outcome of that game will make a difference in his decision?
I know they announced today he's scheduled with the Bills now too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. I think it's going to come down to seeing how much money Dallas is willing to offer him.
I think so too. I think
Dallas
they could
got all the money. Dallas has got all the money out of all the suitors for him.
And I thought
because I'm sorry, I just can never buy into Dallas, man. I just can't.
They look good. They look good with Pollard.
Always find a way to lose.
No, I know. They looked good though. I love that
every year.
With Zeke, Elliott looked good. Like when you have those 2 going like that, my God, they're good. Yeah, they really are.
And I love Pollard. Oh, I've always said he's great.
Mm-hmm. And that defense, Jesus, if they can't, I'm going to tell you, if they don't make a major run this year, I guess it's time to make a move. It's time to move on from Prescott or something, because they got it. I think you got pretty much everything you need.
Yeah. I mean, Micah Parsons is probably the defensive player of the year.
He's like
blowing away Aaron Donald.
Well, yeah, if you figure it's him and the guy from Cleveland, that defensive end.
Yeah.
Why am I forgetting? Garrett. Those guys are Myles Garrett. They're unbelievable. But yeah,
Parsons should be MVP. Period.
I know.
That actually leads me to a question.
All right, yeah. Here go Robin's questions. Let's bring them up. Let's do this little segment. Go ahead, Robin.
Being that it was the day after Thanksgiving, I figured I'd go with an MVP question. Do you guys think that it's a quarterback award now? Do you just think that the importance of the quarterback position has gotten so pronounced that it's just the best quarterback as opposed to the MVP?
Seems to always be like that. It's been like that for a while.
I can't even remember the last. I don't even know.
Adrian Peterson in 2012 was the last non-quarterback to win.
10 years ago, Adrian Peterson. Yeah, I mean, right now I don't see one that wouldn't be a quarterback. You know what I mean? I don't see anybody right now.
Right.
That wouldn't be.
Justin Jefferson, maybe?
Possibly. He is awfully good.
It's gotta be a week. It's gotta be an every. You can't have the thing about an MVP is you can't have any down weeks. Well,
that rules out
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whoever ends up being the MVP pretty much has got to remain steady throughout the whole season. When you start having the ups and the downs, you'll get knocked right out of it.
Robin, do you have another question for us since we're in your segment?
I do. Give me your biggest, at this point, who would you say, if you had to choose a Super Bowl sleeper from the AFC and from the NFC, who would you pick?
Scott, I'll let you go ahead. NFC, a sleeper on both sides.
A sleeper from the NFC for me would be the Seahawks. I think that they're tough enough where they could easily go a lot farther than people expect them to. They've just been playing solid football. I mean,
I agree with Scott, and I love Kenny Walker. Their running game is really good. They got what you need on every position, really. Good coach team. I agree with that one. I like that. That's a good. I like Seattle. Because I can't go with these old guys anymore. Why? Tampa, I just don't know. They just get knocked out in the first round. They get knocked out by a team like Seattle.
Right.
It wouldn't surprise me. AFC wise, I'm going to say the Chargers in the event. They
God, what happened to that?
Yeah, maybe they catch fire.
I guess
it's all.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, the Chargers. If you saw Keenan Allen makes a difference. Williams gets when they were both on the field. It almost made it look like it made a little bit of a difference for them. They have players. I mean, I guess they'd be my team that could be because I don't think New England. I know, and I mean, yeah, I like them. How about you, Scott?
I mean, really, that's the only other team that would be considered a sleeper in the AFC, right? All the other ones,
the Bengals?
like what? Are the Dolphins a sleeper? Are the Bills a sleeper? Is Kansas City a sleeper? Is I mean, the Chargers, they're considered a sleeper, but they should have been hell of a lot better than they are.
Tennessee could be interesting. I mean,
the Raiders, they're pretty much smoked, right? Indianapolis, those teams are pretty much done. Tennessee's got a great record once again.
We got some answers here in the thing. 49ers and Titans came up as 1-2. Dave says, I think the Chargers need a new coach. Well, that might be Sean Payton from whatever every rumor has it.
Yeah. I think there's a good chance that Arizona's going to be minus a head coach at the end of the season as well as San Diego.
Yeah, definitely. And
I know they just signed him, but something's got to change there.
Raiders too.
Yeah. Same with the Raiders. Same with San Diego. I mean, San Diego, the Raiders. San Diego. I mean, hey, Staley's been there for what? Is this his third year?
It's not. I think so. Yeah. Because remember the other guy. The other guy they had was horrible. Lynn, I think his last name was. And then this just hasn't worked out. I don't know if injuries are going to save him. This wide receiver issue is a problem for them. It really has been a problem, but I think they are going to make a change. I think the Raiders have to make a change. I don't think the Broncos
Williams couldn't step up more for them.
Did you see what happened? He had made one catch and it was over last week. So it was his knee, I think, again. And Keenan Allen looked good. I think Denver will keep their coach. I don't think he's going to go yet.
You don't think they're going to push him out that fast?
I think one more time for him. I don't know. I don't even know if they should. No, I don't think yet. I think it's not his fault they brought Russell Wilson in, I mean, he just got what he's got.
He must have clamored for it at some point. He seemed pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
Well, he gave over the play calling duties last week, and I think it made a little bit of a difference for Russell Wilson. If they hadn't had that time management error at the end of the game, they would have won in regulation.
And maybe he does get fired then, because you know what? He's had time management. That's like 3 games.
I know
that they messed up with time management, and he took responsibility.
Terrible, man. There's nothing worse than when you lose like that.
Yeah.
So it's rivalry week in college. What do you think is the best rivalry in the NFL right now?
Right now, Bills Chiefs is probably the best when you can get that going.
Yeah.
I would.
Eagles Cowboys is a good one.
That's a good one. Yes.
Well, they're both playing good. Yeah.
Buffalo Miami's great when they're both playing good. That's a hell of a one.
Yeah.
Going back. I mean, when Green Bay is good, Minnesota Green Bay is usually a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, Chicago Green Bay, but no one's good. Who cares? And I remember the Raiders, and I mean, the Raiders but I think right now what you want to see usually is the Chiefs Bills.
Yeah.
It's got that thing about it with the whole thing. The whole thing is perfectly set up.
Yeah.
For everything. You got it all.
Say San Fran Dallas is another one.
That is a good one too.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything Dallas, because everyone hates them. But I don't know. I do want to say Heineke and the Commanders, they're fun. I can't believe I don't think I've said that about a Washington team in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
They're not bad to watch.
Can't count them out.
They bore me. They usually bore me. They don't anymore. So that's kind of cool for them, for the Commanders. Yeah. Robin, how about another? You got one more before we move on to the our making money?
Yeah, we'll get into this as we talk about the games, but obviously the Jets have decided to bench Zach Wilson. Is that the right direction for them to go? What do you guys think about them starting Mike White?
Let me say something real quick. I'm shocked it's White. I thought it'd be Flacco. I'm actually stunned that it's Mike White. They're very lucky they're going to take on a Bears team that is going to probably have Trevor Siemian at quarterback, and they got so many injuries on defense. Brisker's out and Gordon's out, so they might catch a break. But I don't know, Scott. I was stunned to hear it.
I'm stunned to hear it because I think you just ruined your relationship with your quarterback. Zach Wilson ain't going to be there next year. There's no way. There's no way he's going to want to play next year. Like, that's it. Like, how can you go back to him after this? Right?
I agree. I don't know why they did that, because did they really think, all right, did they really expect that they were some kind of contender this year, I guess?
Right.
So at this point, everything is should be just like, what would you say? It's like putting gravy on the turkey. It should just be frosting on the cake. It should just be good. All right. People are learning. We're playing. We're doing whatever. Playing meaningful games now, which is something a lot different.
Pressure of the media.
Yeah, because it's different, right? When you're 3-8, when it's 3-8, it's different when you're 8-3. Different games when you have pressure on you.
Yeah,
I say that in every sport. That's why when you see a bad hockey team all of a sudden play great in March, well, they've been eliminated since Christmas. It doesn't matter to them anymore. It's just.
Right.
I agree with Dave in the message.
Oh, let's see what Dave had. Dave says, why don't the Jets go after Garoppolo? Pretty good roster, except for the quarterback. Zach Wilson is too young and too mature for the New York spotlight. Interesting take on that.
He just got buried this past week, too. He got buried.
I am going to say, I think Goff on a good team isn't bad. I still think he was – that was watching him play – on Thanksgiving and watching him play the other day against the Bears, he's still okay. I think he's underrated. Garoppolo's given so much, I don't know, so much. He's always up there as to be like some kind of, bring him in and you'll win type thing. I don't see why Goff
he always wins, dude.
And I don't see how Goff isn't bad.
Yeah, I think Goff would have won with the Rams.
Because Stafford's up. We already talked about Stafford.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he wins. I think he wins, but what does he win? Garoppolo wins? Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what? I guess if you just you better be really good if Garoppolo is all you need.
For sure.
Because I don't know. I'm never that impressed with him.
He's not impressive, but he fucking wins, man.
Yeah,
he wins.
I think
his record speaks for itself.
Tight games. I just don't get. I don't know.
Tight game for me in fantasy last week, and he threw 4 touchdowns.
See that? Yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
How about that?
How about the fact that I'm playing you in fantasy this week, and I'm 9-2, and you're 8-3, and Josh Allen got me 40 points, and I'm about to just take a commanding lead.
All right,
All right, we're done with that, guys. Everyone, no one wants to hear about fantasy anymore. All right, hold on a minute. Let's do our thing. Hold on. Let me find our thing. I got too much on this scroll. Where's my stuff? Here it is. All right, against the spread, this podcast is sitting at 80, 65, and 5, still 55%, 15 games over 500. We're doing well combined in college and pro football. I think that's pretty good. I think we're going to push it over 60% here soon. Because I enjoy I don't know, man. I think we're doing good. I mean, to be 15 games over 500 in this
Not
year
bad.
isn't bad at all.
Not at all.
Why don't we do this then? Why don't we start out right where we always do every year? Hold on, let me see if there's any comments here. Let's see. Dave Berzani says you're right, John. Garoppolo is not going to wow you, but he's steady. But just don't depend on him to go out and win a game on his own. I guess that is the way. That's him.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about games. It is Black Friday, and I'm sure people are exhausted. Although I never get into that anymore. Do you, Scott? Do you ever shop on Black Friday? Do you do anything? No.
I've already been buying stuff. I pretty much bought some stuff for Christmas already.
So did we. We're good, thankfully.
Yeah.
Game 1 of the 1 o'clock games is Houston at 1-8-1 at the Dolphins 7-3. We have Miami minus 14 and the over under 47. I will reserve mine. Does anybody like this?
God, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. I can't touch it. It's too. I can't touch it.
I think I like Houston. I know I like Houston. I'm going with Houston plus the 14. I'm not going to give this comfortably, but over 40. Could that go under 47? Maybe. Does it really? I mean, how was Miami going to have to score all 47? You know what? I don't know. I like. Give me the 14, and I'm going to take the 14 with Houston.
Okay, but not the under.
Not the under. No. How dare I?
Stop.
All right. What are you saying? What?
Kyle Allen is starting over Davis Mills.
Good.
This week.
Good idea. No, I didn't even care. Yeah. Good for him. He should. You keep going with Davis Mills. I mean, that's a guy who should be benched.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Dougie was going to be better than that this year.
Yeah. Kyle Allen, I feel even more excited to get to 14, knowing that he's not playing. I do think the Texans can run the ball. That Pierce guy might be able to hold this down to where they only lose by 13. Such a loser bet. It really is. The next one. Cincinnati Bengals at 6-4 are at the Tennessee Titans 7-3. What a good game. Cincinnati minus 2.5 over under 43.5. Mixon is in concussion protocol. Jamar Chase is limited. Guys, anybody like this?
I do.
Go ahead, Robin. What do you like before we hear from Scott?
I like Tennessee at home plus the 2.5.
They're plus? Wow, that's right. What am I saying? They're plus 2.5. What the hell is that? Serious, they're plus 2.5 at home.
Yep.
See,
it's weird.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think it's probably one of the more interesting games of the week. It's the replay of last year's playoff loss, and I think Tennessee is a for real Super Bowl contender with Derrick Henry, with the ability to run the ball with Derrick Henry, and if Tannehill can just not make.
If he can be Garoppolo.
Yeah, exactly. If he can be.
That should be a saying. If we could all be Garoppolo.
Right. Yes.
It'd be all I gotta be.
I mean, last year the Titans sacked Burrow.
In life, I want to be Garoppolo.
Yeah.
It's just all I got.
Sacked Burrow 9 times. I think the Titans are the better team here.
Scott, 2.5 at home. I don't get it.
I love the Titans. I love the
Titans. What the hell? Why would that be? Cincinnati's dealing with injuries too. This is bizarre.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
They're never
fantasy-wise, if anybody cares, if Mixon is out because he's in the concussion protocol, I think Samaje Perine's going to be good.
Yeah, he looked good the other day. Good call on that one. The next game. What a bunch of losers here. The Broncos 3-7 at the 3-8 Panthers. Denver's -1 over under 36. PJ Walker, is he going to play? I don't even know what this says. Practiced, but will not play. Chase Edmonds out. Latavius Murray is limited. I saw the Broncos let go of Melvin Gordon. And so that means what? Who's playing quarterback then? Is it our guy?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold? Wow. Okay. Does anybody care for this game?
I do.
You do? What do you like?
I like the Broncos.
-1. Yeah.
-1.
They're probably better.
I think when you said that that Houston was the only team that wasn't good. I think you forgot the Panthers. I don't think they're any good anyway.
Okay.
I just think they're terrible. And like I said, I think that when the Broncos, I think the Broncos have been terrible this year too. Don't get me wrong, but I think when they handed over the play calling to Clint Kubiak last week, I think I saw a difference.
Can you imagine Clint Kubiak? It just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
Kubiak. All the Kubiaks. I mean, how could they? I mean, at least Gary there, he played, right? He was a decent backup. I remember him. He was like John Elway's backup.
Yeah.
Now Clint.
Yes, he was.
Do you like anything in this game, Scott?
If I had to bet it, I'd bet Denver. I think Carolina's just terrible. Just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Sam
probably just
Sam Darnold's just awful, dude. Like,
wow. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're gonna bet,
just move on.
against him. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Dave gives us a little something here. He says Tennessee is a well-coached team. They just win games. And yeah, Henry is a beast. When he's getting going, it's tough. This is the next one that I'm just it's too bad. The Bears, actually, no, it's actually good for the Bears. Probably a lucky thing. The Bears are 3-8 at the 6-4 Jets. The Jets are -6. The over/under is 38.5. Fields is limited. He comes out. He got a separated shoulder, non-throwing shoulder last week. He says his legs feel heavy. I'm going to say, after last week's debacle and what the coaching staff did to him, he shouldn't play this week. I don't care what he says. After what the Bears did to him last week, and Luke Getsy, they were talking about him. All of a sudden, he went to being a head coaching thing. If he's the one who decided when the guy said his hamstrings hurt and he was heavy legged to run him 2 straight times, like not scrambles, like, and then that's when he gets his shoulder separated. Whatever, man. But Mike White starts for the Jets. The Bears got a lot of injuries, so. Do you guys? I don't think this game is pickable. I don't think it's going to be. You can't select this game.
I'm going to take the Jets. I think the Bears' run defense is bad. I think Michael Carter and James Robinson will run all over them. And without Justin Fields, I just don't see them being able to do it.
Yeah. Simeon's going to be a problem. That'll probably be. It's too bad because I got so excited, Scott. I remember when you came over and the Bears were playing the Cowboys. It just started that game. Game, it just started. And now Bears games are getting exciting. They were losing, but they were good. It was kind of nice because they need to lose. This is going to be bad. This is going to be a throwback ass whipping. This is going to be where I'm tired and disgusted. You know what I mean? It's going to be 8-0, and I'm going to be sick because I can't turn it off because I like them.
Right. But it's good. Yeah. They need to lose.
No, but not like this. Yeah, I don't need to see this. I liked it when they were losing, but the coaching staff, there's a team that quietly might have to fire someone.
I would feel better, or I would feel worse if they were losing with Fields in there. With Simeon, I don't feel bad.
Yeah, but Scott, here's what I think about the Bears real quick. Is that coaching staff not equipped enough to handle maybe a very good quarterback? Do you know what I'm saying?
Like it doesn't look like it.
Doesn't it? Bastards.
The play calling at the beginning of the season, they're all over the place.
Yeah, and then it was great. And then as long as Fields was running, and then that's the messed up thing. I'm not getting into it.
I don't understand how they weren't doing that from the beginning of the season.
And letting him get out there and throw the ball. Like he did that against last week when he moved around and he hit somebody. And he could have ran, and you seen he didn't. And I think it was Greg Olson doing the game who said there must be something up. Well, yeah, his legs were tired, and he threw the ball, and he can throw. And it was perfect. But anyways, all right, move on from that. This is an interesting game, and I never thought this because these two teams usually bore me. The Falcons still do. The Falcons are 5-6 at Washington, who's 6-5. Washington -4, over/under is 40.5. Kyle Pitts is out, and what a disappointment he is. I guess it doesn't really matter. Scott, do you like this at all?
I like the Falcons.
Falcons. Plus,
man. That guy's just lighting. He's just electric with that ball in his hands. Patterson.
Yeah, he scored. What did he do last week?
He ran a kickoff last week.
That's right. Yeah,
it was a punt return.
Yeah,
he's unreal.
Robin.
I stay away from over unders generally, but I like the under in this game. very rainy conditions expected, and FedEx Field isn't known for good conditions. I would like the Commanders if it wasn't for that. They've won 5 out of their last 6. With the Falcons and their running game, I think I would stay away from the game overall, but I definitely like the under.
The under. Wow. Never seen you take an under in my life.
Yeah, I know I hate the unders, but
yeah. Next game. Buccaneers 5-5. Must-win situation for Tampa at the 3-7 Browns. The Browns are preparing for their guy to come back next week. Tampa's -3.5, over-under's 42. Wow, Tampa's is favored in Cleveland in December or whatever the hell, in November here, end of November. Fournette is limited in practice but should play. Do either one of you guys like this game?
I do.
Scott?
Yeah, I like Cleveland. +3.5.
+3.5.
And I will go the opposite way. I like the Bucks +3 or -3.5. Two consecutive wins before their Week 11 bye. The Browns have been outscored 70-40 in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I think this is a game that just screams for the Bucks.
They have to, but on the road, boy, that scares me.
I just
3.5 is a little high.
Not an explosive offense anymore.
That half point. I don't know if they're any better than the. Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know that Rashad White played really well last week. I think him with Fournette.
But the Browns got a good defense. Remember,
yeah, they do.
That's not a defense you can. And if they keep Brady back there like a statue, Garrett's going to kill him.
Yeah, they're the 30th ranked scoring defense, though.
Yeah, man. I don't care. No, I know what you're saying. No, it's a good pick. It's all right. You guys, well, it'll be a wash for us, and because I only care about the podcast. See, 80, 65, and 5. You guys, I like it though. I wouldn't put I don't think I would want to be comfortable putting anything on it. But let's move on to the last 1 o'clock game. Another one, man. Screwy game. The Ravens are 7-3 at the 3-7 Jaguars. Baltimore is only -3.5. The over/under is 43.5. Scott, any feeling on this one?
I like the Ravens, but damn, they just don't put up tons of points anymore. I like them this week, though. I like the Ravens. -3.5.
I do not like this game.
You're staying away? Okay.
Yeah.
I was leaning towards liking the Ravens too in this one. God, they're weird. And another weird team that I don't know. Lamar's exposed, I think, these days. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
I don't understand what's going on. But when I pick against them, I lose. So
that might be a team that's ready for a coaching change too.
Yeah.
How long John Harbaugh's been there. Sometimes you just need a different voice or something. Mm-hmm. Maybe he moves on to another team. Don't get me wrong, but something's stale there. Doesn't it feel stale? It just feels old and boring. Yeah. All right. Let's go to some 405 games. There's 2 of them. The Raiders at 3-7 are at Seattle. Seattle is -3.5. Over/under is 47.5. Scott, anything on this one?
Love Seattle.
Seattle -3.5.
I also like Seattle.
All right. Both you guys like Seattle. I would have to like Seattle too if I would play it, but I'm not going to play it. But I would have to like Seattle. The Raiders scare me all the time, but they're so bad. Oh my God, it's such a dysfunction. If they don't fire him right after, how they have, Black Monday right after the season?
Yeah.
He's got to get it. Don't you think? I mean, right there.
Oh, he's definitely on a hot seat, man. He's sitting on lava. He's been called into Mark Davis's office after so many games.
And then right back to New England for him. He could just go back.
Of course.
Immediately. Yep. Because he is where he should be, I guess, offensive coordinator. I don't understand. Next game is Chargers 5-5 at the Cardinals 4-7. The Chargers are -3. Over/under is 48. Mike Williams limited. Kyler Murray probable. Marquise Brown limited. Rondell Moore did not practice. What do you think, Scott? Anything?
I like the Chargers just because I think even if I hope Kyler Murray comes back because he's terrible.
That's true. I kind of get that feeling. Yeah. Robin, did you like this?
I do not. I think Kyler. I actually originally liked the Chargers. Kyler Murray coming back. Well, I think it's a huge mistake for them. Makes me a little iffy on. You never know what you're going to get with him.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't know. I wanted to like him. He's disappointed me.
Yeah.
After that thing when they called him out and in the media, I thought, man, I hope this guy proves them wrong, and he proved them right, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Next one is the next 425 game. The 4-7 Saints are at the 6-4 49ers. The 49ers are -9. The over-under is 43.5. We don't know if Alvin Kamara is going to probably play midweek illness, but I'd imagine he'll play.
They said they're going to check his status
on the weekend.
Yeah.
Do either of you, Scott? I'll start with you. Do you like this game?
I like the 49ers minus the 8.5. The Saints are just terrible too. Like, that's another team you just never know what you're going to get. But the 49ers are rolling, man. They're rolling at the right time right now. I like them put up a lot of points.
I do think the 49ers are getting healthy right now, but that's just a lot of points. I would stay away from the game, I guess.
I'm going to go with the Saints because there's a method to what I'm doing anyways. They're getting 8.5 is fine, or 9, whatever the hell it is.
9.5.
I'm going with the Saints. I will go with them. I'm going to go with the Saints solely on the fact that these lines are too high, in my opinion. These teams are not covering anything. I don't know what's going on. It's just weird. This year is strange because I know teams are better. We know the 49ers should beat them by 10. There's no reason why they wouldn't beat that team. Can't they win 20-10? I mean, you'd think that'd be slam dunk. Here we go. Wow, have things changed? The Rams 3-7 at the 8-2 Chiefs. We have the Chiefs minus 15.5. Over/under 41.5. A list goes on and on. Matthew Stafford out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire doubtful. Juju Smith practiced. Darius Toney did not practice. Stafford out. He may retire. John Wolford, neck injury. Bryce Perkins to start. Good Lord. Well,
This could be really bad, dude.
Yeah.
This could be really, really bad.
Wow. Robin, any thoughts from you on this one?
Not a chance in the world would I put money anywhere near this game.
God, if the Chiefs can't beat them by – but what about you?
They should, but I couldn't touch that. That's too many points.
I'm going with the Rams, by the way, at 15.5.
That's just so many points, man.
Yeah, I gotta go with them. I can't take that. I don't care who the quarterback is. Just because what happens? Just one fumble, just one nonsensical thing, just anything goes on. This idiot misses an extra point. This guy.
Right.
I'm gonna go with the 15.5. All right, next game. This is the Sunday night game. And I'm on this game. I like this one. The Packers are 4-7 at the 9-1 Eagles. Philadelphia, I think we have them at minus 6.5. Over/under is 46. Aaron Jones is expected to play. Scott, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to destroy them.
Billy.
Yeah.
I like Green Bay in this one.
I really like Green Bay, and I will actually tell you that I would even take them on the money line.
Wow. Robin, how dare you?
Green Bay has got to win this game.
I do like that some of those wide receivers have stepped up for them. I will say that one kid, why am I forgetting his name? He single digits. He's got Christian
Watson.
Christian Watson. Some of them have started to come around. You might be a little strong on that, but hey, that'd be a great prediction here for our podcast. But
he's playing with a fractured thumb, so that tells me he's got issues. Yeah.
So Scott likes the Eagles. Me and you like the Packers. I think you're a little more bullish on them than me, Robin. But
Aaron Rodgers 13-2 in the last 15 primetime games.
Yeah, but didn't he just get wet? Didn't he?
Yeah, but
it's one of the two this year. That's the problem. See, I like the stats, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a different world now.
They've got to win, though. They're a desperate team.
Well, let's see. Desperation. Monday Night Football, which I'm surprised. Well, they don't flex these games out, I don't think, right, on Monday night? Or do they?
No. Yeah.
Do they ever do Monday night flexes?
Oh no, Monday night they don't. Monday night they don't.
Yeah, no, because this one should be.
Yeah,
The Steelers are
flex it
3-7 at the 4-6-1 Colts. Indy's -2.5. Over/under's 39. I'm going to say one thing about this game. I bet you, as much as I just made fun of it, it'll probably be a good game.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it'll probably be like a decently competitive, nice, good game to go to bet on. But I think it'll be good. Would you bet? And now it's Monday night. Everyone likes to bet Monday night. If I'm betting Monday night, I'm betting the Colts.
Yeah.
Because all they got to do is win by a field goal. If this was 3.5, I might go to
running game. Who's got the better running game going right now?
Yeah.
I like the Colts minus the 2.5.
Do you like the Colts minus? Yeah, it's Monday night. Let's put the Colts down at 2.5 but if this line was 3.5 Steelers, I might like Pittsburgh. It's weird because
I think it's going to be a three-point game possibly.
Yeah. But it'll be good. And it's old school. I love it I remember this when I was a kid. Burt Jones was playing against Bradshaw. I love when the Colts play the Steelers. Just the helmets. Just the uniforms playing each other. I don't know. I like it. It's good. Good stuff when they play each other. Do you like uniforms, Scott?
What's that?
Do you like the uniforms? Like, are you into it? Like when you see the uniforms?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Who was it the other day that I saw that pissed me off? Oh, the Lions. I love that gray uniform. I just don't know why they don't have a blue stripe down the gray pants. It was a cool looking uniform. No one wears gray. Like everyone wears gray in baseball. Do you ever notice no one wears gray in football?
Yeah, no, they don't. You're right. Nobody does.
That was really cool. And I'm going to say this again. If I'm a Lions fan, I'd be the happiest I've been in a long time because that's not half bad. What's going on?
No, they put up a hell of a fight, man.
And I like their coach. They like their coach.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting, Scott, though, where they finish and what they draft. Because a quarterback should be what they try to get their hands on, I would think.
That sure will be Dan Campbell's last dance to see what they do.
I agree with that. Sure. Yeah. So anyways, man, long weekend, beautiful, a lot of stuff to watch. I watched the Leafs this afternoon. Tonight, what am I doing? College. I got college games. I'm wrapping it up. Hold on. College. Do you have college?
I don't.
I got them. Here you go. I am better at college than pro for sure. We got to check that out. I like Iowa State plus 9.5 against TCU this week. The game's at Iowa State, and I think TCU wins, but I just think it's closer, way closer than 9.5. I like North Carolina -6 at home against North Carolina State. North Carolina is getting ready to play in the ACC championship game against Clemson. I do like North Carolina to win that game big. South Carolina plus 14.5 at Clemson. I kind of like South Carolina plus the 14.5. They play a tough schedule, They play in the SEC, and I kind of like them plus the 14.5 over Clemson. And I will not touch the Ohio State game at all. I had it written down, but I can't do it because I'm gonna probably regret it. But if anyone out there sees Ohio State for some reason go under, it's up to 8 now. 8. It's going the wrong way. I was hoping it'd go down to like 6.5. But if you happen to see it go down there, maybe get them. Or if you could, how about this? If you're going to parlay it, put them on the money line. That'd be kind of cool. Good idea.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to lose in Columbus. I just can't believe that they lose to Michigan this year. I don't know. But I'm a blockhead. So anyway, Scott, your guys had a nice win this week. They keep it rolling. Who do they play next week? Do you recall? I can't remember.
Next game is against
New England, right? No.
Is it the Jets? No, it's not the Jets.
God, I'm forgetful. Why?
So am I. I'm off the top of my head. I don't know. I could tell you in a second.
Yeah, let me know. I'm curious who they got. I know the Bears next week. Yeah, there you go. I don't even remember them. Because it's just not worth remembering. I don't even know. I don't know. I know the Jets. I know they play the Bills on Christmas Eve. That's all I know.
It is.
That I do know.
Patriots next game.
That'll be good. That could be good. That could be interesting.
Absolutely can be. No doubt. That's a Thursday night game.
That'll be good. Dave asks me, do you guys like the Irish? What do we have that at like 4.5. I think Notre Dame is plus 4.5.
I actually kind of like USC.
At home, right? Big game for USC. They can't lose. They cannot if they slip up, it's over. Notre Dame's not. They're playing better. But then I think about Wake Forest. I think that line should be higher. But hopefully there's weather in Notre Dame. Maybe in South Bend, maybe some weather could help if it's cold enough. Bringing these guys from Southern California. If I was going to pick it, Dave, I would go with USC. I think another one I'd like to go on the money line. Let me go with USC on the money line on that. But yeah, Irish sitting at number 15. All right, guys. We went through a lot. I know you guys got to take a break. Thanksgiving yesterday. Tired. Yeah, kind of tired. A little bit.
I'm going to chill out a little bit after this.
Yeah, Florida State, Florida, right, is on at 7:30. It would be a decent game if you just want to watch some football tonight.
Okay.
So, anyhow, all right, guys. Scott, I'll be talking to you, but I'll definitely see you next week.
Okay, buddy.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Robin, I'll see you
Everybody.
right now. I'm guessing, right? Are you going No. All right. Good night, everyone.